Okay, great. Sorry for last week. I was a little bit sick with fever and stuff, and still have cough and everything, but it's much better, so we can continue, of course. Thanks also for the homework and the charts you sent over. And like always, we take a look at the euro US dollar first. And what we had here last week is a bounce on support, something we expected. Remember, after drawing our support resistance lines and everything, we did our analysis and said, okay, if the price bounces in this area close to the 36, we can look for more longs. Okay, so what we have was a bounce in this area after the touch here, and then on the daily chart you see, of course, we had our lower high and then short signals, but the price did not even touch the 200 EMA. It bounced after range lower here, and with our first green candle, not very powerful, but then it exploded. The thing is that right now we have another 1, 2, 3 candles after this spike up where the price is not going anywhere, right? So it's sitting again close to it tried to break the 37 area, but it did not really achieve that, so it's stuck below 37 right now, and we have a little bit of resistance in this area. Later on, of course, it would be the resistance up here only. So for now, after the bounce, we check the 4-hourly chart. We only got our trend line break and support, the higher lows, the break, and then kind of a 1, 2, 3 here, very steep one, of course. But what we don't like is, or are all these spikes up here, right, where the price is trying to break 137 but is not really doing it. Let me do it like this. Correct? So what to do now? Actually, if you are not long aggressively using this trend line break, then because we wait for this 1, 2, 3, this clean break, we need the retracement, right? We need the retracement back to the 36, ideally a touch or a small range in this area, then a clean break where the candle actually closes high with no big spike. If that's not happening, then I wouldn't touch it again. Yeah, euro US dollar is not the favorite pair to trade right now, because if it goes down and breaks 36 here, it probably might move lower, hitting support. So only intraday shorts then below here and target the support line, or as I said, if it's breaking, then it will be close to major resistances 37, but at least we have volatility, and then we can start targeting again the highs from the daily chart, right? The highs from up here. That is worth it, because that is about 200 plus pips if it really breaks this area. Do we have any other ways to look at this? Any other opinions? Okay. Do we have any news expecting later on today? Any red news? It's like a mirror of the euro US dollar, right? Lower lows, lower highs on the weekly, 1, 2, 3s. Daily chart bounce on resistance. A trend line break, yes, but price sitting on support, previous resistance and support. So now the lows down here, they're about 120 pips away. So there is still a little bit of room, but then we have to make sure this area really and clearly breaks. We can leave the line there, so we have that kind of the range area here, right? It starts from here to down here. And we could say, okay, as long as the price stays here in between, it's 300 pips for intraday trading, okay, if it's bouncing on support or resistance. For everything else, we leave it alone and just trade daily setups, day trading setups. Okay. Now cable, of course, hitting major resistance for a while, but the pressure is still there. It does not look weak, right? It retraced a little bit. The highest point right now is really pointing out. That would be here, and in combination with previous highs in this area, 1.6768 is the target for all the longs. And let me zoom in a little bit. If we change to the daily chart, what happened, the price had a little bit of trouble in this area, remember, but in the end took off again and nothing changed. The same scenarios, a little bit of trouble at the 36 like you did here, but it did not even create a lower point on the chart really, so it's still moving up. Okay, so we have still the same support line. This is the target, the new targets for all the long traders for now. And on the 4-hourly, we already got this new 1, 2, 3. I mean, of course, we got a trend line break and afterwards nothing, but we got it then. Of course, it doesn't look great. Yeah, it's not what we call a perfect 1, 2, 3 moved up 270 pips, but at least in terms of retracement, we had a retracement over 60-70%, which is good. Okay, that's the target. Is anybody still long, or did anybody reinstate longs here? Because I see any longs? No. Okay. I used the yen. This one retraced quickly, and now it's kind of coming back, but it's one of the few pairs that actually also retraced a little bit more than usually. Is anybody still long here? Do we have any hedged longs, or are we waiting for something? Remember, we had in past this big wedge. There were some new long setups, and we had some traders taking those. Price went up a lot, and then we had this lower high in the range in this area, right? Okay, you closed the bonus lot yesterday. Weekly retracement. Okay, well done. Did you have time to hedge anything up also? Just closed. Okay, that's okay. I mean, if you look at the weekly chart, there it dropped very quickly, right? But there is room for bigger retracement. And remember, on the weekly chart, we always expect something like that at some point. So there is room for more. Could retrace a little bit more, even to the 36, close to it, and then go back up. So then you can or we can think of new setups. So this would be something I would like to trade myself. In terms of shorts, because it broke the 36 with this lower high here, we want to check for new setups. Now here in the 4-hourly chart, the only thing I got is a very steep retracement only to the 12. That would be aggressive, but of course also allowed if you like it. Only on the 1-hourly there were a little bit nicer setups up here. Only actually also now back to the 36, but they look a little bit the retracements were a little bit nice, and then kind of try to retrace to the 36 up here, so something in between, but other than that nothing actually. So as you can see here, the same thing, we don't have volatility, so we're probably waiting for something here. We might also have NFP on, let me check the dates. No, not yet. So it will be next week. A long 1 to 3. You mean on the 1-hourly chart, Ranjit? The 1-hourly chart. Okay. Yeah, look. This is the 4-hourly. This is the daily, right? Now on the daily, if you draw the trend lines, that's the only line you got. And here's the price. And it could retrace between 70 or maybe even 100 plus pips. Okay? On the daily chart. On the 4-hourly we have the 36 about 50 pips away. That means if you want to go long, you still need that little crossover, right? And then the higher high and the higher low. That means you need a nice smooth 1 to 3 if you can draw a support line. I mean, your trend line break you would have there anyway. And if it's worth it, yeah, look at the 2 on the 633, also resistance 50-60 pips. Yeah, you can try it out aggressively, but it would be against the move right now, against the volatility, not the main trend, right? The main trend is long, but right now the price is retracing. So you want to be you want to watch closely. Yeah. It's a little bit weird lately. After these big moves, the price is a little bit ranging and not being big swing trading signals anywhere right now. Now the Australian dollar, US dollar is still pointing down on the daily chart, so there's nothing else happening. As you can see in the 4-hourly, we had a 1 2 3 breaking, and now we have another one. You have 3 touches. Might also consider Renko bars here soon for more day trading wise. And yeah, on the daily chart, because it offer retrace only to the 12, it could be that it really, if we really get a 2 to 3 line break and the 4-hourly, that it moves really lower, right? Otherwise, if not, it will show and then retrace to the 36, that we can still watch for bounce. So the main trend is short. We still have to focus on shorts now. Of course, the price already moved down 400 points, and whatever you do in the 4-hourly chart here, if you get that less risk less, okay? It's not okay. We have the USD Canadian dollar, which I know some of you have positions running. Of course 2 lots out, no doubt, but even the late entries here and here are left with only 1 lot. And now that's the whole story. What happens, what you do with this last lot? Should we hedge it or what? Now on the daily chart, no reason to do anything right now because the price is over the 36, right? It's just there over the 36. So no reason to touch anything. Now if that breaks, we have a lower high here right now because we get the first red candle. If that breaks, of course, and you see something like that happening, then you can hedge it up, or you can get rid of the long and see what happens afterwards, because the retracement back to here or even back to here would be normal, right? Look at the weekly. This bounced on September last year and did not retrace yet. It's almost 1,000 pips move on the USD CAD without retracement, so we have to watch out a little bit. What about the Euro GBP? It's the weekly chart, lower highs. The daily creates 1, 2, 3s. They are not looking that great, but right now you got another one. And you also have a red candle. Of course, you have another 10 hours, 12 hours to go before that close, or more, 15 hours actually. And I mean, looking at the monthly chart or the weekly chart, it's still pointing down, right? So you have targets, new lows at 0.79, 77, 78, and you also have a lot of resistance. There we go. Here's the crossover, the previous bounce. It's about 300 points away, with which for the Euro GBP is a lot. Yeah, it moves quickly. But if that's closing red, it's a short signal. Now that I look at it, I'm thinking about maybe taking this one. Maybe look at this a little bit more. Oops, sorry. Okay. So this is the high. Here we had our support line. So the previous lows are sitting about 130 pips away. That means if we get a signal more or less in this area with a stop of 130 pips, we have support here. We also have support lower there, and of course here. So the strongest support is where we have the most touches, and this I would say is right there. One, so actually between here and here, right? Between 79, 50 and 79, 70, somewhere there. One touch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is about 270 pips away. So worth trying out. So if you like it, I'm not the fan of the Euro GBP because it's usually not moving fast, but because I don't see many other setups right now, I'll keep it on my watch list. If it looks still good tonight, I'll probably take the short. Okay. Now Euro CHF, as we said, it looks spooky. It's not really a pair I want to trade right now, unless you like trading the range. Then it's probably something else. Okay, look for bounces, try to trade between here and here. It's 150 pips. It's down here right now, it's touching support, and you can see you have already some red candles there, and if we get the first green, you might use the bounce trading rules. Also, euro yen looks like the USD yen a little bit, of course. 4 hourly chart, we have a 1, 2, 3 in making. Did anybody trade shorts here already aggressively? 1 hourly yesterday. Okay, well done. Which 1 hour chart did you take? You mean a Friday here or lower? So probably that one. So I'm not sure if the chart is correct. It looks a little bit funny. Okay, you made 40s, set 2 pips. That's okay, well done. Hopefully it goes down more. Look at this, it looks like a 4 hourly 1, 2, 3. If that would go down, then we have a target down here, right? So nice break here would be great. And if you look at the daily chart, of course the weekly chart, you can draw trend lines, and it would say you have at least another 400 pips to go before it's really bouncing, if it really wants to move lower. Right now, because of the 12 EMA, price is sitting on the 12 EMA right now, and because we had that before, so it could also be that it moves only a little bit lower. But if it really wants to go, it probably hit the line and you have a good goal there. Yeah, it looks good. So that would be another entry. Everything else is really not easy to spot and very aggressive. So if that goes down and gets us another red candle closing lower, would be another 4 hourly short, not a perfect one because we don't have the retracement to the 36 to where we want to, but if we have volatility, it's of course worth trying. No, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, we don't even bother looking. Now the difference here is the euro yen and GBP JPY, that the price already moved up on this pair, right? Look at the daily chart, it bounced a little bit more than the other pairs, so hopefully only a lower high for the short traders. Now everybody who is already long, remember I have swing longs here, and some of you as well. So if that is a lower high, then I would like to hedge this position and take also shorts. You see we have a retracement to the 36 exactly, and that's probably the best, visually the best setup we got so far on all these 3 pairs. We need this, right? Then we can try to hedge and target the support line, which from the weekly chart between 400 and about 600 pips, okay, depending on where the price prefers to bounce. Like looking at this weekly chart, it might only go down to here but it's probably worth it. Okay, so keep an eye on possible hedges. Now if it just moves up, breaks everything and moves over the 36, then forget the shorts and just keep the longs or look for new longs, right? I'm convinced it has to go somewhere very quickly because it retraced already to the 36, the price. So even if we see a range, it will break out to somewhere very soon, I guess. And if we have also news tomorrow, then it's probably helping. In other words, keep an eye on this pair as well. GBP CHF is still moving up. Look at this. Sorry, what happened to the chart? Something is wrong here. I'm missing a lot of history. Do you see that? The chart is being funny. What price do you have right now on your software, on your MT4? Let's check also the Euro Aussie. Still up. Nothing changed here, but you can see from the weekly chart there is a lot of room. It could retrace at any moment, and because the price did not really retrace back, you see it made a bounce and then a lower point, but not really a lower high. It moved up and created a higher point again, higher than the previous high, I mean. Okay, so right now everything is very, very long, and you could even on the 4-hourly chart draw the lines like this and use those for now. Probably here also a 4-hourly setup in making right now. Now GBP Canadian dollar, we have traders being long here for very long time, some since summer last year, some since November, and even traders that jumped in like beginning of the month, right? So trades from over 2,000 pips. Gale should be making over 1,700 right now, right? Gale is not there right now, but it went almost up to 1,800. So the 633 is there, and it really looks like it wants to hit, even break this area, and that would be a 2,000 pips a profit trade for the remaining position, if that happens. Okay, and up there, if it does that, I would really watch closely and make sure, for instance, some previous resistance areas here, and that is a little bit over the 633, the 1.3738 area might be major resistance. If not there, then at 192 for sure, previous highest resistance areas, we will see some retracements somewhere there. But for now, it's just still going up, and as long as the price is going up, we just focus on the long trades. Simple as that. I wouldn't look for new entries right now, because you see the price also moved away from the 12 EMA, so it's pretty it's in an area where we don't want to look for new setups, right? want the price to come down, hit the 12, ideally the 36, and then we want to look for new longs. You can do that on the 4-hourly chart, of course. You already got another 4-hourly 1, 2, 3, and that also, you see we had some trouble up here, was ranging before it retraced. So I would really be careful and watch out for the bounces here. We had, as I said, a 4-hourly entry, price moved up 130 pips, but we already had the crossover down here, and then this pair moved up 1,000 points, and I would wait, right? I would really wait, see what happens here, and use actually the daily chart as your guide first. So sliding the line below the 12 volatility line here, and then check, of course, the 36. Here it might be that the price wants to create a lower high, touch this area, and then start moving up again. Okay, so don't look for longs right now. If it breaks, of course, we get the lower highs and everything, then we can look for bounce trades, hedge trades, and trade against that, waiting for the touch on the daily line. Is anybody looking at gold? We still have this big weekly thing, bottom formation here, right? And the price is sitting between resistance and support. It's not far, not even on the weekly chart, so I wouldn't touch it right now, really. Actually, gold, I mean, theoretically it should go up at some point again, but because we have still lower highs, we might see also a retracement even back to down here, even back to close to 1,000, right? So I'm not trusting this much right now. Let's see if it can break out here, or if it goes down, then buying somewhere here on a daily chart. Usually I'm in favor of buying gold. Now after this big range, of course, we were in favor of selling it after this big trend and in the range, but it retraced already so much that it's probably wise not to touch it right now. Yeah, these are the most pairs that I'm watching. If you don't have, or do you have any other pairs that you are looking at on your watch list? Something you want to discuss maybe? Okay, let me delete the lines here on the Dow. That is your support coming from the daily chart, and you see the price is squeezed between these levels. Okay, you also have the 633. So ideally you would like to see retracement, price going back to the 36, giving you at least a 4-hourly 1, 2, 3, and then going down. And visually it would be better if the price actually stays below here, so you can draw your resistance line, and then you can at least go short and target your support on the coming from the daily chart, right? You can actually go for 500-600 points. Now look again, this is your channel. We don't need two lines, just to make it easier to understand. Price came out, now retraced back, it's sitting here, but to make sure you want the confirmation, so lower high and then lower low, and then you could target support down here. Okay, now if it goes up, then you have the same scenario as you had before here. Ideally is always a daily 1 2 3, because you see the EMAs are crossing down already. Okay, the EMAs are crossing down. Oops, sorry. And price has to go come over, move over again this area, then actually create a higher low and a higher high, 1 2 3. Then you could aggressively go long, but you see it still takes time before you get the crossover. So you might get the 1 2 3s here way before the crossover, the long 1 2 3s, I mean. Okay, and that's always a little bit tricky, because it just drop like a stone. I would like to ideally see something on the daily chart, like maybe a confirmation, a lower high on the daily, instead of being hasty. If then really wants to go down, you can look for the short. That would be the best thing to do. Okay. I think yeah, I think that's enough for today. We have some setups we're making on a daily chart, only one. See if we can look for some action on the Euro Yen and GBP JPY, and if not, okay, then see what tomorrow brings. And also, like in 10 minutes we start with a Renko bar course, so I will close the session right now, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow, or like in 10 minutes in the Renko bar room. Okay, great. Have a nice day, guys, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.